All right, guys. So, coming back from the Bama Insider show, make sure to catch. If you guys haven't catch that live stream, great conversation with Coach Sean and Coach Mook and a lot of you guys on there that is going to be coming on this channel. But before I kind of get into the recap of the game, I want to shout out to all the Michigan fans, especially for the past video. Like the past, I made like 2 or 3 videos of critiquing Michigan. Wasn't a believer in them. Didn't think that their offense was going to be good enough to potentially go to a national championship. I was completely wrong. Got to give you guys a lot of credit. You guys absolutely deserved it. You outplayed Alabama in this football game. You guys, went toe-to-toe as far as physicality. Matter of fact, I thought in that first half, they dominated as far as schematically wise, as far as just player personnel wise, physicality. I thought you guys did dominate in the first half. And then second half, we made adjustments, and it just became a hell of a ball game to a point where I felt like we could have won the game. But man, hell of a game by you guys, hell of an effort. You guys proved that you can hang with the big boys. You guys proved that you can hang with anybody in the country. And JJ McCarthy also proved me wrong today, man. JJ McCarthy, like I said, I knew he's got talent, right? As a prospect, I knew he's got the talent, but I did not think that JJ McCarthy was going to be the guy that was going to get this team and carry this team to a national championship. And he made plays. He made crucial plays in crucial moments. And you got to give the offensive line who lost Zach Zenner a lot of credit. Those guys went out there and performed. And those receivers did a really good job. But Sherrod Moore coached his ass off for keeping these guys open. And a lot of the wrinkles and a lot of the misdirection, just a lot of things that they were able to do, got to give them a lot of credit. So yeah, shout out to the Michigan faithful. You guys absolutely deserved it, and I wish you guys the best of luck for the national championship. But going into this game, guys, like I said, I'm not going to really make a lot of excuses as to why we lost this game. We made a lot of big crucial mistakes. Seth McLaughlin, 90% of the snaps were low. 90% of the snaps were low, guys. We had at least, I think, 7 or 8 snaps that literally killed drives. I thought the offensive line, for the most part, in pass pro, at least in the first half, was terrible. I thought we settled down a little bit in the second half. We settled down a little bit, but ultimately, Michigan's defensive line, these guys have I kept saying it on the show, guys. These guys have a 2, 3, 4, even a 2, 3, even a 4 deep rotation, and these guys stayed fresh. We ran no up tempo. We did not once show any signs of a threat to their zone scheme, and they went out of it a couple, pretty rare, but they went out of it a few times when they played man. But there was no threat. There was absolutely no threat at all to their zone scheme. A lot of the pre-snap motion that we did, we knew the coverage that they were in. Like I said, now there was some determination of whether the safety was going to, we don't know if the safety was going to come up, just to see where, there's a lot of things that you can try to see when you're trying to run some pre-snap. But for the most part, we did nothing to confuse them. We did nothing at all to pretty much, in a way, kind of throw them off. If anything, what worked was the power run game, right? We ran some 12 personnel. We started to run some pin and pull here and there, and that's honestly was the bread and butter. Was honestly when you use Jalen Murrow in the run game, right? Use him in the power run game, use him in some sweeps. There was some zone read here and there when it comes to Jalen Murrow, but for the most part, pin and pull, that was working a lot when we were simply in 12. But our base offense today was just not good. And it's not just, the personnel and just the lack of execution. It was simply just, I think our offensive coordinator, Tyrese, did not do a good job. Now, I thought that for the most part, he did a pretty good job of making those adjustments in the second half. And I thought we did a much better job offensively, like I said, with the run game. But ultimately, guys, I felt like for the most part, we went away from shit that was working way too easily. Way too easily in this game. We went away with a lot of stuff that was working too fast. And again, it's not all on Tyrese, because Tyrese actually schemed dudes open and Jalen Murrow couldn't see it. We had underneath. We had developing routes with Jermaine Burton going down the field. Jalen Murrow was late with his reads. That one pass to Kendrick Law down the field where I think their safety got back on the ball. That throw that was a late throw. That was a late freaking throw. And that's been the tail end of Jalen Murrow, man, is progressions. It's trying to get off that first read. It's going to the check down way too fast when all you have to do is just kind of go through your progressions. There's dudes that are open And again, Michigan's defense and their secondary, like I said, they'll give up something. You know, we knew what type of defense that Michigan played. We knew the type of route patterns that were going to be given up. Michigan's MO, and I said it during the preseason. I said not preseason. I said it during pregame, and I also said this during the entire week of for Bama Insider. Michigan's going to give up some route concepts. Most likely, they'll probably give us some out routes. You know, they may give up a crosser here and there. They may give up some. They'll definitely give up some of the underneath. But they're going to make Jalen. They want to see if Jalen Milroe can beat them. Can they beat them? They're not going to do anything uncharacteristically. They're going. The question is, can Jalen Milroe beat them? And the answer was no. J.J. McCarthy ultimately did win with his arm, and Jalen Milroe couldn't win with his arm. And I think that if you wanted to summarize this entire game between the battle of quarterbacks, look at the last play of the game. The last play of the game where Jalen Milroe has the ball in his hands, and you could not trust him to throw the football. Instead, what you did was that you just motioned one dude out and just simply try to run a QB draw. And it was so damn predictable. The linebackers communicated with it. The defensive line was shifted right into their gaps, and they were ready for it as soon as they saw that the receiver's motion. It was so fucking obvious. But they didn't trust Jalen Milroe at the end with the ball in his hands to throw the pass to get us a touchdown. That summarized the entire game. Now, listen, I'm not going to quit on Jalen Milroe. I still think that Jalen Milroe can be a very good quarterback. I thought that overall wise, he's progressed fairly nicely for this team. He actually exceeded my expectations because I didn't think that Jalen Milroe was going to get this far in his progression. And I think that you got to give a lot of credit to Tommy Rees and Jalen Milroe for how these two have worked together and how, in a way, they made the offense a lot better. And I think that this offense overall has been better compared to what Bill O'Brien ran last year. Because last year was simply just a Bryce-centric offense where Bryce literally had to be the offensive coordinator in order for them to even move the damn ball, and especially how bad that offensive line was last year. So I do think that Jalen Milroe can get better, but I will say this, even though I think that Jalen Milroe can get better and even though I believe in him, if Jalen Milroe cannot, I don't want to have another Jalen Hurts situation, guys. I don't want to have another Jalen Hurts situation when you have the superior quarterback that's on the bench have that opportunity. I'm not going through that shit again. We're late in the season. We have to make a change. Jalen Milroe, guys, I'm giving him 4 games to show me something. Show me some sort of progression. Show me that you can be good in the short to intermediate intermediate game. Show me that you can go through the different levels of progression and that you can get off that first read pretty quickly. Like, make that Jaden Daniels jump. Make that Bo Nix jump. Make that Michael Penix jump. You got to show me something. Because in 4 games, if he can't, and we're going against some really good quality competition in our 4 games. If he can't show me shit, or matter of fact, if I see that Ty Simpson's beating him out in spring or fall camp, then you got to make that jump. You got to make that switch. You can't hesitate. You can't, no, we're not doing this loyalty shit. Because we've done that with past Alabama players that's ultimately cost us national titles. We're not doing that. So if Jalen Milroe can't get better, if he can't look at this film and he can't get better and he cannot get better for next season, it's time to move on. We got NIL, we got transfer portal. Jalen Milroe, he's, like I said, Bama fans are always going to love him. He's going to be a legend, 4th and 31, length, all that type of crap. And listen, I love Jalen Milroe. Like I said, his length shirt will be on the way to my house. So he'll always be a part of the Bama program. But if he can't get better, it's time to move on. And you got Simpson, you got Londrick, and hell, you may even bring in a transfer quarterback. But at some point, it's time to move on if Milroe can't get better. I refuse to go through another Jalen Hurts 2017 situation. Because even though he won that national title, that offense in 2017 could have been so lethal under Brian Daboll's offense, who, by the way, had 2 different playbooks. And the playbook was even more open. That playbook he had in 17 was even more open for Tua than it was for Hurts because of how advanced Tua actually was as a true freshman. I'm pissed. Like how we saw in 2018, 19, and 20, it could have started off in 17. I'm not going through that shit again next year. So, Jalen Milroe, I believe in you, but you got to show me something, brother. You can't prove me wrong. Follow the link. Let the naysayers know, please. So it is what it is on that forefront. But yeah, it's just, this game, guys, there's a lot that I can definitely go towards. Miscommunication on the back, constant miscommunication on the back end, on our secondary, failing to kind of, for the most part, Kool-Aid had a shitty game. Let's just call it spade a spade. Was terrible in both the passing attack and the run attack. Failed to follow his duty. Failed to read his assignment. It was just terrible. It was miscommunication with our linebackers. It was miscommunication with some of our safeties. Jalen Key had a shitty game, and I kept saying it on the Bama Insider show is that I think that Christian Story would have been a much better fit. Jalen Key had a shitty game, and it's a lot of the key issues that, no pun intended, a lot of the key issues that he had all season. So there's a lot that I can definitely got to kind of go towards. Make sure to watch the Bama Insider live stream. Watch the post game because a lot can be said there. And like I said, I don't want to keep going on long enough. But yeah, congratulations to the Michigan fans. Congratulations to the Michigan Wolverines for winning the national title. I mean, not winning the national title, but winning the Rose Bowl. Yeah, it feels like a national championship. It was a hell of a game. That's one thing that I can also say too, guys. Even though we lost this game and we kept blowing opportunity after opportunity, Michigan capitalized off it because Michigan, it was the same shit with them. They blew opportunities. They had turnovers. And in the fourth quarter, it just came to who executed the best. And that's what Michigan did. So it is what it is, guys. But hell of a season, 12-2. Not the way that we wanted it to end. We thought we can do it. I thought we can do it. But, no one believed that we could even clinch the division. And we did it. We beat Georgia. We ended their streak. And, we can look back and say, hell, it was a magical season. Wish we could have ended off with a national title, but we'll look towards next year. We got a lot of talent coming back next year. A lot of young talent that's going to make a name for themselves as well. And who knows? Looking at this loss, we can motivate some players to potentially come back. Who knows? Maybe. So, anyway, guys, Jan Sports, Jan 716. Once again, congratulations to Michigan, and it's always going to be next season for us, man. Roll Tide.